A lot of guys tell me, yo, I don't really have time to, go to the gym. Like I'm working 9 to 5 and I'm trading stocks. So like, I got kids and I'm running an agency or, and I'm like, I mean, is that belief serving you, bro? Like you're not, you kind of fat right now, bro. Not to say that, what I'm saying? Like you want to be in shape, but you're telling yourself you ain't got time. We're not realizing that 30 minutes in the morning is going to make you feel better, make you feel more confident, give you more energy. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be able to come home and be present with your woman.
Welcome back to the podcast. I started this podcast as a way to help Black men in all aspects of our lives. Studies show on average we lose 2.8 years of our life when we're under heavy stress. And I think we can gain those 2.8 years back if we express ourselves healthily. Stick with me as I interview therapists, doctors, advocates, activists, and friends about how we can be better as Black men and as a Black community. If you're not subscribed to us on YouTube and following us on Instagram and TikTok, you'll definitely want to do that. Without further ado, let's get into the episode.
All right, y'all, I'm here with Elijah. Elijah is a transformation coach and the resident fitness expert for Express Yourself Black Man. So y'all may have seen him on the platform. Y'all should have seen him on the platform if y'all are paying attention. So we do Fitness Fridays. He normally curates the content for Fitness Fridays. This man is definitely one of the most consistent people I've met since I started the platform. So I know people talk about my consistency as far as posting and like the business and stuff, but Elijah is one of those people that I met and I was like, okay, he's tuned in. Like we on the same frequency. He posts almost the same amount. You get what I'm saying? And like also the conversation that we've had, you've helped me to find my editor and all that kind of stuff, bro. So please, man, tell the people who you are, what you do.
Hey, yo, I appreciate you, my brother. What's going on? What's going on, family? It's your favorite fit conscious Black entrepreneur coach, Elijah here, man. First of all, you definitely gave me a little too much there, man. You the one that has, I've seen talk about transformation, right? I'm a transformation coach. Seeing you develop from where you are when we first met to now, bro, is like, it's heartwarming for me, bro. Yeah. Growth is something that I value at a very high level, bro. And so it's been a pleasure to just be a part of the journey and just see you grow and see you evolve. But I appreciate you for having me, bro. My name is Elijah. I'm a transformation coach. I'm the founder of the Grind Tribe, which is a fitness and health optimization platform for Black and brown men. And I essentially help my brothers become the most fit, focused, consistent, confident versions of themselves through transforming their body and getting in their best shape.
Dope, bro. Dope. And yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate you, man. Because people don't know, like when we did our first episode, we've done a podcast episode before. Those that have been following the podcast for a while probably have seen, have listened to it. When we first did that episode, I was probably at maybe 5,000 followers.
Yeah, I was like, you were like 4K, I think.
Okay, all right, yeah, 4K.
Yeah, like you 10x, bro.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, so absolutely, we actually did 10x, right? So it's like, yo, it's a lot of growth and a lot of stuff has happened since then, bro. But I want to hop straight into it because we were talking last week. Conversation was getting spicy, bro. And I felt like it was needed for the podcast, bro. Hey. So let's talk about the hypercriticalness that we see in the Black community and where you feel like that comes from, bro.
Let's talk about it, right? Hypercriticalness. I feel like we are more likely to, by default, to pass judgment on each other than we are to give each other grace. And it's real, bro. Like growing up, seeing it specifically in social media, the business space, even seeing it in my own behaviors. I'm a big component of like just trying to figure out where do my behaviors actually come from, right? And I know that your audience is, especially if they're tapped into your platform. And when we talk about the level of I wouldn't really say hate, but the level of apprehension that we have towards each other, it all really boils back down to everything. When we communicate as human beings, we project what's going on internally. We project what we feel about ourselves. And so I think that, we deal with a self-hate epidemic in the Black community. I mean, I can tell you as a dark-skinned brother growing up, being a guy that used to say shit like, oh, I don't date dark-skinned women. I don't date Black chicks because they too, like the self-hate indoctrination is very, very deeply rooted inside of the trauma and the generational curses that have been passed on through different nuances. And of course, it comes out with our level of over criticism of each other when it comes to communication. Right. And I think that it's something that we need to be aware of, and it's something that we need to all take personal accountability for. You know, sometimes whether it be looking at somebody's success, whether it be the quickness to want to like insert your opinion or judge somebody or criticize somebody, it comes from that relationship that we have with ourselves. And I think that on a collective level, you know, we got to be more aware of where that's stemming from. You know what I'm saying? How self-hate has played into our culture, you know what I'm saying? And how it also allows us to interact with each other. You know what I'm saying? Even growing up, it's like, if you see somebody flyer than you, yeah, but he probably, or you like looking for the thing that's going to get you the little one up that's going to make you feel a little comfortable because homie had on a new phone pod that you had on an old crusty one. Like, you know what I mean? And so it's that level of, I feel like that high level of over criticism on a cultural level comes from the epidemic of self-hate and level of indoctrination. But on a conscious level, it just comes from the relationships that we have with ourselves. And they kind of tie and intertwine with each other.
Nah, absolutely, man. You just said a lot. And I hope people caught that because, like, bro, when I put up that post where Fresh and Fit were talking about I don't date black women, I had a lot of people in the comments talking about, man, see, this is self-hate. This is self-hate. It's so easy to see it when it's somebody else, right? And it's so easy to see it when it's very blatant. But we don't catch the small, interactions that we have with people that also identify that we have some level of issues with ourselves. Yeah. Right? Like how much grace you give other people normally informs me of like how gracious you are to yourself. Right? Like when people are very hard on people, I'm like, dang, I wonder how they are when they're by themselves. Like I was talking to my girl and we were just having a conversation about, I forgot exactly what happened, but like there was, I think somebody had made a mistake in the media and you could just see people just in the comments like, yo, I can't believe blah, blah, blah. And now like for me, like the first thing that I stop and do is think like, that's a human being. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's a human being. And we could all make that mistake. And I partially do that because I feel like I have a platform now and I understand the amount of pressure that you're under every time you go on that platform and say anything. You get what I'm saying? DMs to posts to comments. People don't understand that. And so like we're so hard on people without understanding that, yo, these people are people at the end of the day. Yeah. Right. Like I know you see a logo or you may see like their face and you just seeing that somebody post, or you may see a snippet from a video. You don't understand all the stuff that leads up into that. You don't understand what happened after that. You don't understand how it's impacting them. You get what I'm saying? So like, I think I think a lot of us need to practice grace a lot more. And one thing I always say about grace is that it's something that is always requested. Like we all want it. When we're in the position, you get what I'm saying? Like we all want it. When we mess up, we all want grace. Yeah. But when it comes time to give it to somebody, we're very reluctant to do so. So I think we need to get better at that for sure, man. Yeah. And go ahead. You gonna say something?
I think we all got to understand everybody's in their own journey. Like when I saw that clip from I think it's called a Fresh and Fit podcast, something like that, right? And I seen what these guys were talking about and what they were saying. Like the first part of me was like, oh, these dudes are bozos, right? But then the second part of me was like, well, the 16-year-old me would have been watching that podcast like facts. Exactly. So it's like, but look who I am now. Like you can't find a motherfucker more conscious than me. I love my black women. I'm pro-black everything, and I will never ever lean in any other direction from that, right? But at a certain point in my life, I wasn't there, and so just given that context, people are in their journey, and I'm not saying that we gotta take holding people accountable out of the situation, but we gotta recognize like, yo, they're human beings. You know what I'm saying? Right. So don't be so quick to cast a judgment or I like to say project on other people. Because at the end of the day, they're in their journey. Right. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna go through whatever it is they need to go through to either realize to have the chance to grow. You know what I'm saying? And that's not up to you to direct them there. That's because that's their journey. You're not God. That's God's job. You feel me? Right. And it takes a high level of thinking to do that because it could be real easy to be reactive, bro. But that's what the responsibility of just wanting to be a better person is about. It's about taking those quick little moments to be like, let me not cast judgment on this person because shit, I was I used to say dumb shit all the time in my life.
Right.
I used to be a certain way. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. And you know what's so interesting too? Like I watched a little bit of their content, and like I see people in the comments like, yo, man, these brothers have taught me so much.
right.
And man, I'm so thankful for this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's on the backside, people are not realizing like, yo, they are having some kind of positive impact on people, right? Like there are people that are looking for community, that are looking for information that they are providing, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Right. Like they're doing that. So I don't know, man. Like you don't have to like what they're like the way they deliver it. You don't have to like some of the things that they say, but you do have to respect where they are as individuals, and also understand like there is growing to be done. There's growing to be done with everybody, even me. Right.
Yeah.
Like I know there's certain people that once they seen that submission post, they're like, yeah, I'm done with this dude.
Right.
Like I'm done.
Right.
I'm done. I can't believe, right? But these same people were probably like, yo, man, it's the best account. You get what I'm saying? Like, so you see how quickly it like, right? So it's just interesting, man, to think about it from that perspective. And I wanted to talk about, like, we were talking about self-doubt last week too.
Yeah.
And your thoughts on that. So can you take us through like how our culture influences self-doubt?
How our culture influences self-doubt. Bro, I feel like when you're a Black man, you are fighting against self-doubt pretty much from the day you step into preschool. Everything is systematically programmed to instill doubt. Like I had this big epiphany one year that really changed my mindset. And I was actually after a therapy session. And I had realized that my whole life I was programmed to think that I'm just a Black man in a white man's world, and that I gotta be something extraordinary to get normal. Right. And so this, from that to like, I'm Trini and Guyanese, ass whoopings. What is ass whooping? Ass whooping is instilling doubt in you when you really think about it. It's making you feel like the next time you could potentially make a bad decision, it's like you're getting doubt in a form of negative energy from that, because you're like, yo, that ass whooping about to come, right? So it's kind of taking away your freedom of thinking in a way. And so I think that there's a lot of different aspects of culture that subconsciously instill self-doubt in you, and a lot of us, man, we're trying to overcompensate from that self-doubt. I always say the reason why I started the Grind Tribe is because I burnt out when I ran my first tech business, and I realized I didn't want other Black men doing the same thing. I wanted us to be able to take care of health, show up as the most confident versions of ourselves. And the reason why I burnt out is because I was fresh out of college. I was in Buffalo, New York, where pretty much wealth is white up there, right? It's definitely not like a high level of integration like it is, down in LI, down in the city. And I just always felt like I had to overcompensate. I always felt like I had to work 10 times as hard as the guy who didn't look like me to get what he had. But like when you play in the game of building a tech business, that's the game of big wealth, big opportunity, big market opportunity. And that game, winning in that game comes from decision making. It doesn't come from hustling, despite what the motivational guys might say. Right. So when I lost in that game and I realized like I was associating certain things like being more busy and even making mistakes around what I felt like was more work. Why? Because in my mind, I had doubt that I can make it in the first place. And I was like, anytime I walk into one of these networking rooms, I want these white boys to be like, yeah, well, nobody can out hustle that dude. Like I felt like I always needed to fight for my position just by a way of how the room was designed itself.
Right.
But it's like it was still battling up against that doubt. Right. That I didn't know. It was my first run around in a business, let alone building a hard tech startup, right? And I was like, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. And most people, they don't. But when you're fighting that level of doubt on such a subconscious level, you're going to project it, and you're going to project it in ways that are not going to be healthy for you. And for me, that was through overworking myself and letting my mental health go to shit and burning out and becoming addicted to caffeine and ruining my relationships and being a jerk off that never took work off kind of attitude. Just projecting.
So let me ask you a question.
That shit runs deep, bro.
Nah, absolutely, bro. You talk about a lot of important stuff there. And when I heard you talk about getting beatings, I thought about a conversation that I've had with my girl's dad.
Mm.
We were talking about like beating. So he's African.
Okay.
And there's a completely different
My girl African too.
Okay, all right. So you understand.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's a completely different culture when it comes to beatings and all that, right?
Yeah.
So, like his thought process around it was that
they beatings is wild. Yo. Yo, I thought walking down the street to get the bamboo stick was crazy. Nah, son.
Nah, they really nah. Yeah, yo, if you know, man. That African beating, bro, is not something that you look forward to on the day after school. Like it's just not. Yeah, my pops is African, so I done had my fair share. You get what I'm saying? Like they get creative with it, bro. Like, they really do. They get super creative with it. But all right. So let's get back to it, bro. So he was telling me how he feels like beatings are necessary for kids because you have to instill a certain level of fear. That's what he told me. And I was like, And I was just thinking to myself, like, do we need to parent with fear? Because I feel like that's what a lot of parents in the Black community turn to is like, all right, you know what? You're going to respect me out of fearing me rather than respecting me just out of respecting me for that sake. So what are your thoughts on that? And also, are you going to beat your kids? Like, do you think it's necessary?
No.
Okay.
Here's the reality. Fear is the, when we talk vibration, when we talk spiritual frequency energy, I would encourage anybody that's listening as a reference to what I'm talking about to pick up the book Power versus Force, David R. Hawkins, right? Energetically, we can lead with power, we can lead with force, right? And fear, guilt, shame, those are actually lower forms of vibrational energy, right? Okay. That's why they say, you ever hear when you could walk into a room and you could cut the tension with a knife. Like that's because there's a weird vibration going on, and you can actually feel it on a biochemistry, in a physiological way. When I first learned about energy and frequency, and I'm not going to go too much into it because it's a little bit more, I wouldn't really say it's on the spiritual side of things, more on the metaphysical side of things. You look at Mahatmas. They're gonna kill me in the social studies class right now. It doesn't matter. Gandhi, right? Gandhi was able to beat the British because he fought via nonviolence. He fought with power. He fought with the higher level of energy, which was pride, which was conscientiousness, which was love, as opposed to force, right? Brute, guilt, shame, violence. At the end of the day, I think, and this is a big issue inside our community, and I think that we consciously just not up on yet. And I would like to say, I don't think I'm gonna beat my kids. Granted, I'm gonna be an in-shape pop. So if my son overstepped the line and I gotta, now I'm saying rock him once, twice, because he's 17 and he think that's a different story. But making beatings traditional, nah. Right. Because I think it programs you to operate at a lower level of consciousness. And when you're at that low level of consciousness, you can never really tap into your full potential. That's why so many of us are here on this platform trying to get up out those lower level of consciousness that come from, certain traditions, certain environments, certain households, certain things that were put upon us that we did not ask for. And we know what that vision, what that abundance, what just that level of peace and harmony feels like. And it doesn't come from being scorned. Being beaten is being scorned for making a bad decision. It doesn't teach you how to actually think. It just teaches you how to fear. People don't think when they're in fear mode. They just fear. It's bringing you down to like a superhuman instinct as opposed to uplifting you into a conscientious way of thinking. And I think that I personally think that as Black people, we are some of the greatest thinkers of all time, creatives of all time. And a lot of that creativity gets capped when we live in this space of negative energy. I think about rap music, for example, right? Self-hate. But the reason why I fast from rap music all the time is because I'm programming all these negative emotions into my subconscious. It's fear, it's hate, it's blame, it's guilt, it's victimized. It's like, that's what you rapping about, smashing another man's woman, him taking your woman, you killing the op. Who is the op? Are the cops really trying to catch me? What's really going on here? Why am I putting those things into my, I'm not vibrating at that frequency. Mm-hmm. And so when we think about beatings, bro, I just think that they program our children when they're in their purest form to be moving with fear and to be moving with shame. And those you can ask your therapist, fear, but specifically shame. Being shamed as a child, feeling shameful as a child affects your mental growing into your adolescence in a very, very, very specific way. Mm-hmm. If you ever study any of those documentaries on the psychology of serial killers, a lot of them, like, they had a lot of shame in their childhood. Mm-hmm. Like, these things affect us. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They affect us. And so I personally don't believe, bro, that they should be. I think that we're better than that. Mm. And, I think that a lot of people think, well, we ain't about to be out here like some of these white kids. I see my white friend curse his mom out a couple times. It ain't not happened. I don't know. But you feel me? So it's like, damn, how are you going to discipline your children?
Exactly.
You feel me? But
the first, I just wanted to mention this real quick. I'm gonna let you go. The first thing people started thinking as soon as you say, "Oh, I'm not beating my kids," you're gonna have your kids gonna be crazy, bro. They're gonna be running around. You're gonna have your kids like white kids, man. Like, that's the first thing people think for sure. But now, please get into what.
And that's just a narrative too. Even though I did have a couple of white boy friends, I didn't slept over the crib, and I was like, bro, my mom would have shot me in my head, bro. But anyway, I'm not going. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like, we can take a more conscious approach, because at the end of the day, children, bro, like, they're so pure, they're so precious, bro. Like, their minds have the ability to literally focus on whatever they want to focus on. They have so much energy, right? Why cap their minds? Why make them fearful? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I think that if we can learn how to teach our children how to think, you don't need to teach. You don't need fear to teach your child how to think. You need presence. You need attentiveness. Mm. You need love. Your child wants love way more than they want an ass whooping. A lot of our parents program us to think, if we ain't get that good grade, if we ain't do this, we was not gonna get that love. Right. And it puts you in a mindset of scarcity. Mm-hmm. You can't live in abundance when your mindset is in scarcity. And your mind is the most abundant when you are a child. And everything you do when you're a child, your soil is rich. So whatever seeds that you're planting in there, they're going to grow. And so it's so important to allow our children to grow consciously and become their own thinkers and evolve. And beating them down is not going to be the way to do that. I personally don't think it is.
Nah, I agree with you, because I was telling her, I was like, yo, I don't necessarily think I'm going to beat my kids. Now, like what you said, my kid's not going to be out here stealing, and I'm just going to be talking to them. There's certain things that I feel like you have to have a certain reaction so the behavior is stopped all the way, right? Because I was learning this in psychology, is like, when you have a consequence as extreme as physical punishment, you have to be able to repeat it every single time that action happens, or else you're not actually teaching that child anything. So like, let's say, like growing up, I used to get beat all the time for my room not being clean, right? Yeah. The reason why it never worked is because I got different reactions every single time my room wasn't clean. Sometimes I would get a talk, yo, Kofi, the room needs to be clean. Sometimes I would get maybe a little slap on the wrist, Kofi, the room needs to be clean. Then when my parents, when my pops gets annoyed enough, now I'm getting a full blown, I'm saying, grab the belt beating. You get what I'm saying? So it's not going to work, because I'm not at that point. I can't rationalize what the actual punishment or the consequence of my action is. I don't know if it's going to be a talk, a slap on the wrist, or a full blown beating. You get what I'm saying? So of course the room going to stay dirty, because I'm playing the odds right now. I'm like, it's a 33% chance I get beat. You get what I'm saying? 66% chance that I live with whatever I get. I'm good. You get what I'm saying? And this is not exactly what kids are doing, but on a subconscious level, this is what happens. So if you're going to beat your kids, the way I see it is, make sure that it's for something that every single time that thing happens, you're going to be able to have that reaction. And for most parents, you're not going to have enough energy, or you're not going to want to, because you have to be in a certain mind state. Like, I don't think people even understand, like, you have kids, like, you have to be in a certain mindset to beat your kids, bro.
Yeah.
You have to be able to get to a certain level, right? And I also feel like parents sometimes, like, I'm not a parent, so I'm just speculating here. I feel like beating sometimes comes from a certain level of frustration. Like they
don't be having no energy, bro.
Right.
You was more likely to get a beating when pops worked a double shift. That's just the reality. They didn't have the energy and the attentiveness to discipline you at a higher level. So, I mean, think about it, bro. I'm pretty sure you've had a stressful day, a long day. You know, your girl might have said something that triggered you. You might have like barked on her a quick second, or maybe raised your voice, right? Showed a little bit of aggression. You might have, like, as like, we're human beings, right?
Right.
Why did it happen? Because you just had a long day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You didn't have that quick little mindfulness millisecond for you to be like, oh, nah, baby, you know what? I already did that. Like, you know what I mean? So like that happens, right? So now when we put that in the context of being disciplinary action for a child, you know how much patience it takes to really speak to a child and get them to understand something and reinforce those behaviors. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of presence. Most of us grew up and our parents was working all day long. They ain't have that time. They ain't have that energy, and they ain't have that presence. They had the motherfucking belt, and that's the way that they saw fit.
Right.
That's why I'm not mad at. I can't be mad at them. That's the way that they saw fit. They thought that was the best option. They wasn't aware of all these things.
Right. Yeah. They weren't living,
you know what I'm saying?
2022 when we're talking about prior.
They wasn't getting canceled for beating you with the pinter broom. Nah.
Right.
It wasn't happening. They wasn't getting canceled.
That too. Nah, absolutely. So yeah, man, like, listen, man, y'all gonna do what y'all want to do, right? But just understand the mental health implications behind it, understand the psychology behind it, right?
Yeah.
And then also, like, when you get into having kids, like, I don't think people realize, like, you can get counseling too. Like, you can have a therapist that kind of helps you with, like, transitioning into having kids. Because that's one thing that I think about all the time is, like, I don't have no kids right now. Like, how the heck am I going to parent properly, right? Like, a lot of our parents talk about how the first child is the mistake child. Like, I don't want any of my kids to be mistake. You get, like, I don't want to have it.
It's the learning child. I was the learning child.
Right. Like, I don't want to have no learning kids. Like, nah, I don't want to be trying stuff out on a kid. Like, nah. So I really, like, I was talking to my therapist about that. And she's like, yeah, you can get therapy for that. So listen, man, that's also an option. Like, talk to somebody, because a lot of times we try to do it by ourselves and we make a lot of mistakes. And some of us aren't fortunate enough to have, like, our parents alive, or like grandparents that can help out in the house and stuff. So if you don't have anybody that you feel like you could really go to, definitely talk to a counselor. And even if you do have people that you can go to, talk to a counselor, because we just mentioned some things that we thought was normal growing up, but might be the best.
Honestly, bro, I feel like anything that involves another human being and your commitment to that human being, you need to go to counseling before. Here's the thing, bro. I can start a million different businesses, fail, and make mistakes. How many times can I really be a mistake at being a good father, or a good brother, or a good son, or a good boyfriend, husband, and etc.? I feel like, that's why some of my bros that are married, I always like to get as much insight from them about marriage as I can, because I'm not married yet. You know what I'm saying? But I want to be able to go into marriage, you know what I'm saying, if it's something that I'm going to consider, like, with enough information to make proper decisions. It's not like one of my boys told me one time, like, yo, you'll never be prepared for it. And I agree. But there's still a lot of information that you could put me on game with to help me, be better prepared for that situation. Same thing with fatherhood. You know what I mean? I feel like whether it be getting in a deep relationship, especially having children, like, awareness is everything. Information about yourself will change your situation. Absolutely. Like, that's real. A lot of times, when you go into a business, you study the market and see, okay, is this a viable enough opportunity to go? Is this a passion project? Is this profitable? Okay, cool. But how many times do we go into a major commitment like marriage or relationship or having a child where we didn't get information about ourselves and what this is going to look like and how we are going to move in this situation? And it just helps you make better decisions. It just gives you that quick little millisecond of like, whoa, I'm not about to make what I just did a habit. I just projected wild crazy. That's not about to happen again. I need to pay attention to that small little millisecond, because you got exposed to information of, hey, here's some things that you may want to consider from your childhood that may come into play, that may affect how you raise your first child, or how you raise your children, or how how you operate in this relationship, or this marriage, or how you are towards commitment. Like, it's just information, man. Like, and we get that information about ourselves through reflection and through mirroring, and which is why going to therapy, going to counseling of some form is important, because I think that a lot of people think that, number one, therapy counseling is either taboo and something has to be wrong with them, or number two, when they are aware that they have a problem, they think that the therapist or the counselor is supposed to solve their problems for them. And it's not. It's about giving you information about yourself and allowing you to communicate and learn about yourself, so that way you have information to make better decisions, to be more mindful of yourself and the things that you got going on inside of your life and how they're going to affect you and the other people around you.
Facts, man.
Real talk.
You are, man, you are dropping some gems. I hope people are listening for sure, man. So can we talk about the grind tribe and how you got into that, man? Because I think people really need to know how you got into the space that you're in right now.
So I built the grind tribe because I've always been big on standards and intention. And one of the things I used to always ask myself was, what does success look like for me? I was always entrepreneurial. I always loved business. I always loved making money. I went to college for business. I got my personal training certificate when I was in college. And after running a tech business, I seen that there was a lot going on in other communities that were helping people cultivate a lot more meaning inside their life while building platforms, while building an app, while building while having that building mindset. I felt like entrepreneurship gets lonely. Entrepreneurship can be a war with yourself. And more importantly, most people sacrifice their health inside of the process of getting to success. And that's not just in entrepreneurship. That's in you could be a nurse. You can, work as a quality. Like, most people we don't get taught self-management, right? And how do I actually, when I transition from college to corporate, and I'm building a platform, like, how should I eat? Like, how should I take care of myself? Or how should I maintain my relationships? How do I date when I'm an entrepreneur? How does my relationship with my family go? And so I think that for a lot of guys that are, I really relate to the lifestyle of being an entrepreneur and just like always having your mind on building something. And so when I created this community, the first thing I asked myself is, I want to be more than just a personal trainer. I was a personal trainer for the first 6 years of my career, and I enjoyed it, right? I did group training. I was in the gym. I would kill people in the gym, but then they would go home and eat the brownies. They would go home and they go back to those same toxic relationships, or they would go back and still be in those same belief patterns. And I personally felt like my calling was to help people transform. And so when I thought about the skill sets I currently had and what I wanted to cultivate and the impact that I wanted to cultivate, I really just wanted to create a platform that I can help the brothers that I relate to the most, really get over a lot of these doubts and belief patterns that leave them, out of shape, burnt out, feeling like they're constantly just a victim to like this busy lifestyle. Because I've met plenty of people, bro, that are public success and private failures.
Man.
And I value family, like, a lot. I value quality relationships, right? That's what I'm doing this shit for in the first place. And so why am I going to sacrifice those things or neglect those things just for pursuit of the bag? And for me, it's about cultivating a movement where we realize that doesn't have to be an option, because that's just a belief.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
A lot of guys tell me, I don't really have time to, go to the gym. Like, I'm working 9 to 5 and I'm trading stocks. So like, I got kids and I'm running an agency, or, and I'm like, is that belief serving you, bro? Like, you kind of fat right now, bro. Not to say that, what I'm saying? Like, you want to be in shape, but you're telling yourself you ain't got time. We're not realizing that 30 minutes in the morning is going to make you feel better, make you feel more confident, give you more energy. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be able to come home and be present with your woman. Like, that's a big thing, bro. Dating as an entrepreneur for me has been extremely hard. You fucking project all the time. You ain't got no energy. You pouring into everything and everybody else, and it's not really nobody pouring into you. And so there's a lot of nuances that I wanted to tackle from the lifestyle end, while being able to allow these brothers to, go on this journey, this physical transformation, whether that be putting on some muscle, gaining some weight, losing some weight. I really tackle things at a holistic level, not just training, nutrition, but your lifestyle, your choices, and just your standard for yourself. And that's what it's all about for me, bro. I'm all about helping us develop better standards for ourselves and live more holistic, happier versions of life. Like that's what life is about, bro. We all gotta, hourglass, to be honest. Real talk.
That's a fact, man. And I love the fact that you point out, like, people make excuses when it comes to the gym all day, every day, man. All day, every day. I hear it myself too. Like, I'm not a trainer, but sometimes I've put on a considerable amount of muscle. Like, if somebody's known me from like even last year, like in the year before,
facts.
I put on muscle, right? So when people see me, like, bro, get off the steroid. Like, you're like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I get that kind of remarks, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, nah, bro. I'm just, protein in the gym, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Right. And then when people hear stuff like that, they're like, yo, like people that know me and know my work ethic and know about Express Yourself Black, man, they're like, yo, you posting 3 times a day, you making all this content, you going to the gym still, and you got it not. I'm like, yeah, bro, but it's a priority for me. Like, I don't do the 9 to 5 and work myself to death with Express Yourself Black, man, and then neglect neglect myself. Like,
right.
What? How the heck am I leading a community? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
How am I leading a community on mental health and like personal development, and I'm not working on myself, bro? Yeah. You have to have all facets of it. Like we talked about holistic health at the retreat, the Grind Tribe retreat. Yeah. Like, you have to have all facets of it, like spiritual. You have to have the physical. You have to have the mental. Yeah, the emotional. Like, it has to be holistic, man. So for those of y'all that are working yourselves to death and y'all not actually like in the gym working yourself to death as you should, like, get in the gym, bro. And you don't gotta go in the gym and start doing muscle ups. Like, you don't gotta start wilding. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, people think you gotta go in the gym and squat 350. Like, nah, right. Go in the gym and you do what you can to make sure that you're going in there. Like, go ahead.
And I think, for your platform specifically, like, your body is like very much tied to your mental health, right? Like on a physiological level. First aspect of your gut health, right? They say your gut is your second brain. So like what you eat, if your body's, in an inflammatory state, if you have poor gut health, poor cellular health, it's going to give you brain fog. It's going to make you, high sugar. All these things actually physically affect your brain, but also like brain chemicals. Right. There's so many, there are positive brain chemicals that allow you to find sort of like a good balance. I want to say balance. I don't want to get too scientific within the way that you operate. Right. Because you have things like cortisol, which is your stress hormone, that once that goes up, if it goes up too much, then it starts to affect you negatively in multiple different ways. But then you have like positive brain chemicals like dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, oxytocin. Dopamine is like the reward hormone. Like after you finish a workout, you feel good. Like, yo, I just got it done. Right. You see, you're starting the day, or instead of trying to get your dopamine from that coffee, you're getting it from just like feeling like I've accomplished something. Right. Endorphins, when your body moves, you get your blood flow going, like your endorphins are going through your brain. Like, these are positive brain chemicals that actually positively affect your mood. Right. Serotonin, when you look in the mirror, you're like, all right, like, feel good. Like, you feel like I'm getting somewhere, right? Like that's serotonin. Even like when you come home, you know what I'm saying? Like, for me, I like being in shape because my shorty likes me in shape, bro. I like when I come home and she wants to rub on my back and she's like feeling on my body. That's called oxytocin, right? Oxytocin is the love chemical, right? And that's one of the most important chemicals that makes us feel like mentally we are in a space of peace, because the other side of that is fight or flight. And most of us, we've been in fight or flight our whole life through multiple different capacities and experiences. And so sometimes that's why I would say, like, I always encourage my clients. I say, bro, get around some good people that make you feel good when you're around them. And I'm not talking about people that make you drink or smoke. Like, people that you feel. That's why I have the Grind Tribe, because I make sure all my members inside the community, we pouring into each other, right? But get around people that make you feel good. Like, that oxytocin hormone is like a chemical is extremely important. It allows your body to chemically read, hey, I'm in a safe surroundings. Let me kind of taper down and let me do what I'm supposed to here. Right. Let me be a little bit more present here. And so all these things, they have a physical connect with your mental health.
Mm.
And once we can realize that, and we could tie what we're physically doing as well as our mental practices, like you can just find a better space. Like I'd like to believe that I have a very grounded mental health. I'm not going to say, I don't like to rank it good or bad, right? Because I have my days, but I'm grounded. I have a level of self-awareness. I know myself pretty decently. That might change if I go through some shit, but like I have a high level of awareness, and I'm not going to lie, it brings value to my business. It brings value to my relationships. It brings value to how I operate as a brother, as a son, you know what I'm saying? And that's important.
Nah, it is, bro. And so, man, listen, I hope y'all are hearing, because I think what we're trying to highlight here is like, yo, listen, it's cool to have all those things that society labels as like success. Right. Every time I see like someone that's not physically fit, that has like a big business or like, anything, I'm always kind of skeptical, because for me it's like, oh, so this is what you sacrifice to get here. You get what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I always think of it in those terms.
That's
like, dang, you really.
I'm gonna be real, bro. Again, I like to give people the grace, because I know a lot of people. Some guys, they have injuries, a herniated disc, and so this happened when I was 29. But I saw somebody that was offering. I want to write. I'm gonna be writing my first book, like official book this year, right?
Okay.
And I saw somebody that was offering like I don't know if it was a course or mentorship. But I'm not gonna lie, they was fat, and I'm like, bro, I wasn't judging them, but even like we are normally going to like sort of judge people, especially off an image. It's a human thing, right? But I had a little apprehension at first before I even went to dive into his work, just because I'm like, well, this dude doesn't value what I value.
Right. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, this Cuban link on my neck and it's and around my wrist, like that means nothing to me without my health, without my confidence, without being able to know that I can defend my family, being able to know that like I have the most important asset, which is my body, and it's going well, and it's not anywhere in the future going to be a liability by any means that I'm doing right now. Right. That peace of mind is what gives me my truest level of confidence. Everything else, this Nike logo on my shirt, nothing else don't mean nothing to me. And that's just what I value. And I think it all really boils down to values, because a lot of, again, it goes back to like, even if we bring it back to the first aspect of the episode, like self-hate, a lot of us value external things because we don't value ourselves. And that's one of the big messages I always preach on my platform. I see a lot of Black men in Atlanta driving around in Chargers and BMWs and with Cuban links. And I get it's a lot of Black success out here, but I'm like, bro, you have a lot of visceral fat. Like, once you have a certain amount of body fat percentage, you're pre-diabetic. Like, you making yourself a potential liability for your family. If we just talking some real, generational wealth shit, you can't have generational wealth without generational health. Seriously, though. A lot of people don't understand, bro, that in order to build generational wealth, it's not just making money through some real estate and some life insurance and a good business. It's actually creating a standard and a value system in your family on how you guys operate and how you guys facilitate that wealth. Now, if everybody's still stuck in physical and mental dysfunction mode, there ain't no wealth to really be circulated. Somebody gonna fumble the bag. Right. So it goes back to standards and leadership. And for me, I don't look at fitness just in an aspect of like, yeah, I look good and I can approach whatever woman I want. I mean, that's cool. But I look at it as like my little sister and my little brothers work out because they see their older brother working out. And my sons are going to grow up saying my dad values his health. He got up every morning to work out. So like, I mean, this is kind of regular to me. Oh, we value health in this household. So like, yeah, we eat and there's a lot of green on our plate and we make smoothies and we kind of understand health at this higher level. And that's generational wealth for me.
Man, your man, the gems, bro. Man. The gems, bro. Listen, so tell the people where they can find you, what you got coming, all of that, man, please. Absolutely, man.
So you guys can find me on Instagram at Tyse, TYSE _ _ trainer. I'm also on YouTube as Elijah Tyson, and I'm really just looking to grow the platform, man. I'm looking to work with 100. I'm looking to transform 100 to 200 men inside of my transformation platform this year. That's the goal. I want to be. I'm going to right? Affirmative language.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be the one when anybody thinks, damn, this motherfucker made me get up on my shit today, it's gonna be me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the value that I hold myself to, that has provided this. I'm sorry, the standard that I hold myself to that has provided a lot of value for my life. And I'm gonna make sure I hold my brothers to it as well.
Absolutely, man. Listen, I've seen some of the stuff inside the program. When we were talking last week, I'm gonna let y'all know something right now, man. Y'all are getting what you pay for. Listen, because some of the things that you have in there and like the systems and the processes that you have behind the work that you do, it's so like, I can tell you start like you had a tech startup because you have that business mind, right? Mm-hmm. And like, bro, I'm telling y'all, man, like looking at the things that you have built out, like the course system and like the spreadsheet for what people can go and do and like with their nutrition and stuff, man, y'all are really getting a premium plan. This is not just something that's like, oh, okay, you know, it says it's premium price, and then you go in there and it's just like, you know, 2 YouTube videos on how to do squats, you know,
right.
Like,
yeah, this is transformation here, man. You know, I think a lot of fitness industry is a lot of fluff. It's, you know, people tell you they tease and they supplement. It's nothing wrong with that if that's your thing, but I sell transformation. You know, I have a whole curriculum around my program. And so it's about delivering value, because I lose if my client doesn't get what he wants coming through my program.
Right.
And I'm like, some people sell you workouts, some people sell you PDFs, some people sell you shakes. I sell results, because I think that's what's most important when it comes to this game.
Facts, man.
So
Elijah, man, Thank you so much for being here, bro.
You already know, King. I appreciate you, man. I truly appreciate, like I tell you all the time, bro, I'm proud of you. And I truly appreciate the level of work that you do, man. It's so needed, bro. I think your platform is paramount for the community. To all y'all followers out there, I'm going to say this myself, because I ain't been appreciated. Y'all been kind of wilding on the page, man, talking about some. Yo, listen. My man Kofi's out here doing the work. Don't be out here in his DMs talking about what he need to post. He giving you content for free, because y'all ain't about to come to my page with that. I'm going to give you that heat via voice note in the DM, all right? So I say that to say, brother, I appreciate you. Like, real talk, bro. Like, you really are stepping up the game with the high level of leadership. And I think that when we're cultivating messages, we don't realize how much leadership comes with that. And you're doing a great job at it, bro. So I appreciate you, my G.
Man, I appreciate the flowers, man. I
appreciate
it, man. For real. Thank you for taking the time out to listen to this episode. I truly, truly, truly appreciate you. So I really hope you got some valuable insight. And I hope I helped in some capacity, whether it be through the platform or the podcast. If you like to support for free, you can like this video if you're on YouTube, or you can share and subscribe regardless of what platform you're listening to the episode on. If you like to support monetarily, now we're talking, you can go to shop.expressyourselfblackman.com and get yourself some merch. We have a hoodie, we have sweatsuits, we have shirts, we have hats. We also have an ebook on how to heal, where I discuss breakups, depression and suicidal ideations, anxiety, and attachment styles. I go in depth about my story with dealing with all of those things, and then I explain how to heal in an easy guide. It's easy to follow. It's easy to go from reading to implementing. So if you're interested in that as well, it's in the shop. The book is called From Hurting to Healing, A Black Man's Guide to Feeling. So consider supporting monetarily, but regardless of how you support, I appreciate you. I hope you have a great day. Sometimes I know you feel like you ain't got nobody to speak to. A shoulder to lean on somebody you could preach to. No, you need to hear it, my brother, I love you. We got way too much to live for. We got way too much to live for. When we get it all, we want more. Like you lost another one. When we get it, still we want more. I know it's hard, but you just gotta push on. Tell me for only brody always tryna bring you. If you ever feeling down, bro, you're never alone. If you ever feeling down, you can always hit my phone. If you ever feeling down, bro, you're never alone. Okay, hey, I'm your shoulder to lean on. Express yourself, distress yourself. I don't wanna talk about me, tell me how you feeling well. Since you know that you alive, but this earth feeling you.